In order to master your emotions and your thoughts and your behaviors, you're gonna need tools. And you're gonna have to master those tools if you wanna achieve the goal. Then I need you to start picking up these tools, and I need you to use them as if your life depends on it, because it does. The storm is gonna come. And if you wanna learn how to stay calm in the midst of the storm, then when the storm shows up, you can't recluse. You have to go out and have to practice this. The first time you go to implement the tool, especially the first time, because your brain has been wired to think a certain way, to feel a certain way, to behave a certain way for so long that you go to do it differently and it feels foreign. And you feel like, I can't do this. Every time the world gives me an external obstacle and it dysregulates me, I have a pity party. No, it's just an opportunity to practice the tool of emotional regulation. You can't say I want to practice being resilient, which is the ability to bounce back when life gets difficult, but then you get upset every time life gets difficult. That's an opportunity to practice resiliency. You can't say, I want to stay calm in the face of adverse circumstances, but then every time life gives me adverse circumstances, I get upset. You can't say I want to master stress management, but then every time life gets stressful, you get upset. You can't say I want to master my ability to practice anger management, but then every time something triggers you, you get upset. You can't say I want to master my ability to be patient and tolerant, but then every time somebody triggers you, you get impatient, intolerant, you get upset. When you feel anger, stress, impatience, intolerance, you have to remember this is just an opportunity for me to pull out one of my tools and implement it so that I can practice it, so that I can master it, so that I can move in the direction of my goals and my vision. We all get upset. It's gonna happen from time to time. Everybody gets upset, including myself. When life shows up, when there's a trial, a tribulation, when the storm comes, you're gonna get upset. So don't misinterpret and think that I'm saying that you're not allowed to feel your feelings and feel upset. I'm saying that you have to be an active participant. Hit pause and ask yourself, how long do I want to stay upset? Can I shorten the amount of time that I am upset? Can I remember that when I'm upset, this is just an opportunity for me to go in my bag and implement the tools so that I can get out of this mood and emotionally regulate regardless of the external circumstances in my life. Even if I'm a victim, I don't have to be in a victim mentality. No, it's just an opportunity to pick up the tool, to use the tool, to put in the work, to change the way I feel, to catch thoughts, replace thoughts, regardless of the external environment, which is a difficult assignment, but it is the assignment nonetheless. You just have to not give up, no matter what. Eventually, you're gonna have a breakthrough moment, and you're gonna be able to implement the tool for the first time, and it's gonna feel good. But there's a fallacy. People think that they only have to do it one time and then they're going to be happy, joyous, and free and they're finished. And you have to come to the realization sooner rather than later that you're never going to be done. That life is just like this. There's always going to be a problem, and for every problem there's a solution. And it's not a one-time thing, it's a day-to-day thing, it's a moment-to-moment thing. You go to let something go, you put it down. And then all of a sudden you're living life and unconsciously you picked it back up. You processed your trauma, then all of a sudden there's a trauma trigger and boom, you're back to this place where I gotta let this go again, where I gotta process my trauma again, where I have to forgive again, where I have to accept again, where I have to focus on my breathing again, where I have to move towards my purpose and start to create inertia to overcome my depression again, where I have to implement strategies and interventions to alleviate my stress and my anxiety again, that I have to heal my broken heart again, that I have to process my grief again. And people think like, damn, when am I ever gonna be finished? It's like pulling weeds in the springtime. You're never gonna be finished. You go to pull all the weeds in the front yard, then you go to the backyard and start pulling the weeds. And by the time you're done pulling the weeds in the backyard, the front yard has to be pulled again. It's like doing laundry, you gotta do it weekly. It's like making your bed, you have to do it daily. Like washing the dishes. Mental health can feel like that sometimes. Exhausting. You have to have a warrior's mentality. When life shows up, remember, this is just an opportunity for me to practice one of the tools so that I can master those things, so that I can master myself and continue to move in the direction of my goals and my future vision of myself. There's so many motivational speakers out there, but we don't have enough people that are motivating people to address internal goals, mental health motivators, people who are carrying a motivational message in regards to mental health, anger, fear, sadness, treatable, obsessive compulsive, social anxiety, panic attacks, treatable, things that can be treated. If you want to build a house, people understand that you're going to need to put in the work in order to build the house. But when it comes to mental health, people don't seem to understand that it takes work too. That if you want to build the house, you're going to need tools. But people don't seem to understand that if you want to work on your thoughts and your emotions and your behaviors and your mental health, you're going to need tools. It's the same thing. You're going to need that motivation, that spark, that push in order to pick up those tools and learn how to use those tools and then implement those tools every day. You can't wait for the external things to change in order for you to feel good internally, because life doesn't work like that. Life is going to show up. And when life shows up with trials and tribulations and challenges and obstacles and stressors, which it will, you're going to need to use your tools, and you're going to have to work at those consistently. Timber approves this message.